And as Christians, we call these bad times trials. And as years go by, you're going to be tested. Stephen was stoned. And why? Because the men who testified against them, they were induced to lie. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God, to them who are called according, what? To His purpose. Well, in life, there are good times and there are bad times. And as Christians, we call these bad times trials. We're going through a trial. And as years go by, you're going to be tested. And more and more. Now, there's some examples of that. Job lost everything. He even lost his health. He's out there on a pile of ashes, scraping his sores. Ugh, just awful. Jonah was in a fish with seaweed, but he could think and pray. And here he is, going along, I hope on the surface of the ocean, but we don't know. But it was 72 hours in that fish. Stephen was stoned. And why? Because the men who testified against them, it says the word induced to lie. They were induced to lie. And Jesus did nothing. He did nothing. And he was killed. But that's how it was meant to be. That's how it worked. And it was planned, and he did it. Now, I want to remind you, Jesus did his job. Okay? He was sent down. Mary had Jesus. He was raised in a family, a Jewish family, and he was taught a trade. He taught in the synagogue. He did everything right. Everything in his whole life. So he did his job. You know, you're here, and you have a job. You may not think of it that way, but you were called, and you're here with me and all these people, and you have a job. May not like it sometimes. I worry about it. I worry about other people, but that's my job. And your job is whatever. You know, you ever think of it that way? You're going to have a career with God. Okay? Get it straight. There's no quitting. There's no walking away. But you have to stick to it with me and the rest of us here. So let's look at this. Let's go to Philippians 4 and 7. And here again, Paul is speaking or writing to the Philippian church. 4 and 7. And I'll try and go slower this time. It starts out, and the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are a good report, if there's any virtue, if there is any praise, think on these things. He tells us what to think about. Not like I do, but what is truth? What is honest? What is just? What is pure? What is lovely? What has a good report? What has a good report? If there is any virtue, think on these things. Get that? Philippians 4:9. Think on these things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen me do, and the God of peace shall be with you. You want God to be with you? Practice. But I rejoice in the Lord greatly, and now at the last your care of me has flourished again, wherein you were also careful, but you lacked opportunity. So for some reason they didn't support him, and I don't understand all this, but then they did. In Philippians 4:11. Now this is where I wanted to go. Now that I speak in respect to want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, wherewith to be content. So he says, look, and let me read this. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound everywhere in all things. I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthen me. Notwithstanding, you have well done that you did communicate with my affliction. Now, that word affliction is very interesting because it's 2-3-4-7. 2-3-4-7 is found in the Strongs. So he has a problem. Well, what does that word mean? It means pressure. It means tribulation. It can mean trouble. It can mean anguish. And it can mean burden. So he's carrying all these things. You think you got a load? I got a load, but a lot of problems. But he really had it. He'd been beaten, thrown out of towns, which was just read. But he's learned to live with whatever situation he's in. And this is the point I'm trying to make. Whatever his situation, he's learned to live with it and live within where he is. Got a lot of money, he eats well. Not so much, maybe he doesn't dress well, or he did not eat well. See? Got all these things coming. So Paul was under pressure, tribulation, and trouble. See, during the feast, the speakers get up here, and we speak, and we talk, and we have subjects. And when you take this idea and you hear it, like I'm trying to convey to you today, like Bob Wright said, concepts, and you go home, and some stick, and some won't. You know, you're human. You know, you hear and then you forget. And as I'm getting older, I'm more forgetful. So, and that's okay. Thank you, Bob. He's not here today, I see. So that's what it's about. That's why you're here. Let's go to Romans 9 and 18. Romans 9 and 18. Therefore, hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will harden. Now, who's talking here? Who's he talking about? He's talking about God. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and on whom he will be hardened. What's that mean, harden? Well, look that up, and it means render or be stubborn. Now, that wouldn't be talking about me, stubborn. Just ask Nita. I'm easy to live with. Yeah, So are you men, right? And women. Don't want to leave you out. But you want to see example of a stubborn and where that word is referring to. It's found in Exodus 5:2, Exodus 7:13, Exodus 14:22, and it goes on. And that's where God hardened Pharaoh's heart. So why did he do that? He let Pharaoh have his way. He could have his way. And what happened? It brought down, Pharaoh's thinking brought down Egypt. It destroyed Egypt. But he got his way, didn't he? So, think about that. When you want something so bad, be careful. When you have to have anything, something, be careful. Romans 9:19. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art you that reply against God? Shall the thing former say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me this problem? We got a problem here. Hath not the potter power over the clay? So he's going to draw an analogy. Hath not the potter over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another one to dishonor? Romans 9:22. What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his powers known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessel of mercy, which he had afore adopted unto glory, prepared unto glory, even us. Now he's talking, he made an analogy about clay. You've seen that. Even us, whom he has called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles? So who did he call? As he said unto in Hosea, OC, that's interesting, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which were not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it is said unto them, you are not my people, there shall be called the children of God. Everybody. Now, as I'm looking out here, I notice you have a lot of different interests. By the way you dress, by the way you talk, by the way I walk is irrelevant right now. But you see what I'm saying? You'll have talents, and you have talents in different directions. But that's okay. Your heredity, that's okay. But God is going to work with you. You see, I don't care who you are, where you came from, your education, he's going to work with you. And sometimes it's going to be great, and sometimes it's not going to be pretty. Yeah, Maddie has it. Okay, let's go to Ecclesiastes 9:9. And here is Solomon. Now, remember, Solomon was the wisest man, the richest man. He had everything going for him. I can't imagine the fun he had, because he would hire, let's say, someone that took care of the vineyard, and he could go down and ask the guy, well, how do you bud? Show me how you bud these little buds on the limb. Or how do you plant? And how do you know when to plant? And all these questions, he could go and ask an expert. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Okay, here's what he says to you and me. Here's what he says. Live joyful with the wife whom you loved all the days of the life of your vanity. In other words, your life. Vanity, when he says life, when he says vanity, it's how long you're going to live. And you. We only have so much time. Which he hath given you under the sun, all the days of the vanity. All your days. I'm 81, and I'm getting close. So what's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to you? He says, for that is thy portion in this life. You get so long, and you get to do so much with what you have. And in thy labor which was taken under the sun. 9:10. Whatsoever your hand find to do, and you're here, do it with might. Do it with your might. For there is no work, no device, no knowledge, no wisdom in the grave. Pretty serious, isn't it? You've got so long, and you're here. And I'm trying to tell you, time is valuable. And then he says where you end up, where you go, in the pit, and you die. So we only have so long, and then that's it. Pretty soon, another day or so, and you're going to be going home. Seize the time. Romans 8:26. Likewise, the Spirit also helps our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself makes intercession for us with groanings that cannot be uttered. So there's things we want to say, we think we say, and it just doesn't come out right. That's me. And God hears me anyway. And he that searches the hearts knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because he makes intercession for the saints according to the will of God. That's pretty cool. So you have a portion of God's Spirit. And T, I think, opened with a prayer. Give us another measure of your Spirit. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God, to them who are called according, what? To his purpose. There's another point. You were called for a purpose. See? You should understand that. There's going to be a job slot, let's call it. It's a job waiting for you. I don't know what I'm going to get. I think about things like that. I wonder what I'm going to do. I wonder who I'm going to be working for. Will I work for one of the apostles? Will I work at headquarters? Will I get to go out and do things? We don't know. Now, all of you, hear me. You spend time in a car or in a plane or in a train or even a bus to get here. You spent money, a lot of money, time, effort. Some people got sick. Some people fell down. Or one person fell down. And I understand your perseverance. You forced yourself to come out. You could have said, I'm not going this year. I'm not going to do this next Sabbath. Oh, I'm tired. Well, I just want to make you understand you have a purpose in life. You have things you don't know about, things I don't understand. And I read the Bible a little bit. Could read it more. But let me read to you again, Philippians 4:11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am wherein be content. And that's the danger out there for old people and young people. You don't know where you're going to end up. You don't know where we're going. You could end up in a rest home. But wherever you find yourself this next year, I don't know. I have not a clue. I don't know where I will end up. But try to be content. Try to be just there and be good. Be a good person. Be a Christian. Because you only have one chance.
You have received this information based upon the Word of God. Every additional topic concerning the truth, which originates in Scripture, builds understanding leading to salvation. We hope you will personally review the Scriptures cited in this presentation. God will teach you if you ask Him. Until next time, good day.